On this episode of the Globe Sports Corner, we'll recap the start of the second half of the basketball season and highlight some individuals hitting huge milestones. We'll get a sneak peek at the upcoming men's volleyball season as it becomes the latest to start at GC, and we'll talk track with a Maple Leaf first year from across the pond. All that and more coming up on the Globe Sports Corner. From inside the Globe studios on the campus of Goshen College, welcome to the first episode of the Globe Sports Corner in the new year. Buckle up, we have a loaded show with men's volleyball, basketball, track and field, and more, so let's go ahead and get things started. We'll start off with a quick recap of Maple Leaf basketball since the start of the second stint in Crossroads League play this year. Women's basketball had a solid start since returning back from the holiday break. The team had their first undefeated week in conference play since 2017 with a 72-65 win over Spring Arbor at home on January 8th and a 62-60 13-point comeback win over the Taylor Trojans on the road on January 11th. Those two wins have put the Maple Leafs at 9-9 overall and 3-6 in conference play, good enough to sit at 7th place in the Crossroads League. A couple of individuals crossed a major milestone for the women's team as well. In the 93-57 loss to number 2 Indiana Wesleyan last Wednesday, Cyan Muhammad scored 10 points to push her to exactly 1,000 career points. That makes her the 19th Maple Leaf to reach the incredible career mark. Zion Neat became the 20th player to hit 1,000 points in her career wearing the purple and white, with 22 points in the game against Huntington last Saturday. Neat came to Goshen with 866 points from her 2 years at Columbia International University and hit the 1,000 mark at Goshen in just 3 seasons. She only needs 113 more points to hit 2,000 in her career. Congrats to both Cyan Muhammad and Zion Neat for these incredible accomplishments. Now on to the men's basketball team. The Leafs are still searching for that first conference win this season, but they made their case that they're still a team to be reckoned with. On January 11th, the Leafs fell just short to the Taylor Trojans 110-102 in triple overtime. Richard Wilson led the team going 5 of 7 from three-point range to propel him to 31 points. Marcus Northern dropped 21. Judas Mfukwe scored 15. GC is 2-1 all-time in triple overtime games with an 87-86 win over Grace in 1972 and a 95-85 win over Taylor in 2007. Then trailing by 5 with less than 2 minutes to go, the Leafs made a late run against receiving votes Iwu and came up just short by a score of 85-76. Judas Mfukwe put up a season-high 26 points to lead the team, and Richard Wilson scored another 20. There's still a lot of basketball left to be played this season, and both teams could very well have a chance at seeing some postseason play. After the break, we'll get a preview of the latest team to get into action at Goshen College. It's men's volleyball. Stick around. You're watching the Globe Sports Corner.
I'm getting my degree from the college named TV School of the Year 3 out of the last 4 years. It's not in Muncie or in Indianapolis. I attend Goshen College, and communication is just one of the 35 outstanding majors offered here. At GC, you will work with professionals and get your hands on the camera in your first semester on campus. How do I know that Goshen College was the best choice? Right after graduation, I start my first job, broadcasting professional baseball. Take the next step towards your career.
Men's volleyball is the latest of all the Maple Leafs to start their season. Jasmin Smith takes us behind the scenes with what to expect from the team this season.
After graduation, student athletes often want to stay close to their sport. This is the case for Wyatt Bullinger, the associate head coach for men's volleyball, assistant coach for women's volleyball, who graduated from GC in 2023.
I had such a good time here. I made a lot of good friends and a lot of good connections. And that position opened up, and it just kind of made sense to stick around for a little bit. I kind of felt like this place wasn't quite done with me, and I'm very thankful that I kind of lucked into a job here a little bit. But it was sort of meant to be, I think.
Jeff Phillips, the director of volleyball at GC, said Bullinger's position is unique.
And so the idea was I have an assistant coach with the women's team. She just helps with the women's team. And then for Wyatt to be able to go, I am, in a little bit more detailed position with the men's team. He does come to women's practice. He does a little bit of, of those types of things. But in reality, he's mostly focused on recruiting for the men's side during women's season, getting in the gym with our guys when I'm not capable. And so his position is a little bit unique in terms of having a little bit more control, having a little bit more sort of autonomy to move throughout the program and kind of use his time the way he sees fit.
His transition from player to coach has been seamless.
Coming in here as old as I was, playing with some of these younger players, they were freshmen and sophomores when I was, 23 years old. So I think already there was a certain element of like seniority and respect that I commanded as a player, as a floor captain, as a setter in general. And I think it was a pretty natural transition then to like a role as still, a mentor in a different capacity and still somewhat of a teacher.
With the season starting later this week, both coaches are confident in the future.
There were solid veterans last year. There was a big chunk of really good freshmen. They were still freshmen. So the first half of the season last year was a lot of growth and figuring things out. And so this year, we feel way more comfortable with the fact that all of those guys have a season under their belts, know what to expect from the conference, know what the level of play will be. And so we feel a lot more confident in terms of our lineup, in terms of the guys feeling confident in themselves.
I'm super excited. We have a lot of promising talent this year, and I think we're going to be pretty dangerous. So, just nothing but excitement and, looking forward to it. And I'm excited to see the hard work these guys have been putting in pay off.
Conference play for the team starts February 4th against Olivet Nazarene University. Reporting for Globe Sports, I'm Jasmin Smith.
What a neat story. The Maple Leafs opened at Judson University last night and fell short 3-1. They're back in action against Indiana University East and Wabash College this Saturday at 1 and 5 p.m. We're going to step aside for just a moment. Following this quick commercial break, I'll be joined in the studio by a member of the women's indoor track and field team to get a fresh look at the young season. That and more to follow on the Globe Sports Corner.
I work for the best college radio station in the nation. It's not New York City or Chicago, it's Goshen College. Our broadcasting program is just one of Goshen's 35 outstanding majors. At Goshen College, you will work one-on-one with top professionals and get studio time in your first semester. You can call a game from the playing field or broadcast from a downtown radio studio.
How do I know Goshen was the best choice? Right after graduation, I'll start my new job as a radio morning show co-host. Take the next step in your broadcasting career.
Welcome back to the Globe Sports Corner. Now joining me in the studio is first-year track and field athlete Quiva Farrell. Quiva, thank you so much for coming to chat today.
Yeah, of course, anytime.
So I want to start off a little bit with your background. You hail from Ireland, a long way from home. What draws somebody across the ocean from Ireland all the way to Little Goshen, Indiana?
Yeah, so I was actually scouted, I think 2 years ago now, when I was in my second last year of school. And I was reached out to by a past coach, and I kind of, initially I thought it was a scam actually, if I'm honest. And then after a year, my dad and I kind of realized, yeah, no, I'm not getting scammed. And we had a Zoom call with both my parents and I, and spoke about like possibilities and stuff. And I think from that moment, I kind of realized, yeah, I want to go through with this. It's always been a dream to come to America. So I think just having the opportunity to be able to come here is really what drew me here.
Now, in my opinion, it would feel a little bit daunting to be so far from home, especially, as the season gets ramped up. So what were your feelings about, kind of being away from home and getting ready to compete for the first time at the collegiate level?
So I've been doing track and field for like 12-ish years now. So competition isn't new to me. That being said, I still do get pretty nervous with competing. I think coming here, studying here and training, that wasn't as daunting. My first meet was in Notre Dame just before the winter break, and that was pretty nerve-wracking. I think sometimes we forget how mental running can be, especially hurdles. It's very easy to hit one. So I think it was pretty daunting for that meet. After that, we had Purdue Fort Wayne, which was kind of a fallout from Notre Dame. It was the day after. And last Saturday, we were back in Purdue. So that was a little bit less daunting, a good bit more chilled out. And I think that kind of showed in my performance. I think being able to come here was more of a excitement and experience rather than a, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? I think that I did have a lot of contact with professors and also the coaching staff over here before I came, so I did have that little sense of comfort. I also came in with another Irish athlete, Liam Shaw, who's a shot putter, and he's also from Galway in Ireland, so it was nice to have someone to bounce off. Him and I have known each other for 6 or 7 years now, so it's kind of familial, so I think that definitely helped a great deal.
Yeah, that is a good thing. Let's look back at that Macedon Invitational. You finished 4th out of 11 in high jump, 5 feet and a quarter inch. Very solid start to the season. How do you look to continue that as the season goes on? What was your reaction to that first good collegiate performance?
Yeah, so I actually, I was grateful that I was healthy and able to compete. However, I feel as though I could have represented the work that I had put in a little bit better. I think a lot of the time the first meet can also be a rust buster. So it is kind of getting used to jumping again. I think on the day, initially my high jump was pretty chilled out, and then I had to switch to my other event, hurdles. And so the mindset for both of those are pretty substantially different. So I think before that, I was happy with my jumping. After that, maybe it was a little bit more rushed. So I think I'd definitely like to move up to 158 rather than 153. I think it was almost there last week. So I would like to see that move up a little bit. However, that comes with time and a little bit more experience. It's my first year. It was only my 3rd meet in America. So I think just kind of watching it mellow out. I'd look to potentially go up to 165 this season. Hopefully speed up my hurdles a little bit, but they're kind of hard not to hit sometimes. But yeah, I'd like to see my height progress a little bit more and just get a little bit more comfortable with competing over here.
Goshen Track and Field, historically one of the better programs on campus. What's it like to be a part of a program that is so historically, well respected and competes very well every year? Yeah, so it's really exciting. I think back home, I didn't have a whole lot of team training. It was generally just my coach and one other athlete. So I think it's really exciting to have a team that can support people. It did take a great deal of getting used to, but it's really, even just seeing how the team supports each other and lifts each other up at meets, it's just enchanting. You feel like even if you can't perform to impress yourself, you're impressing your team. And I think it's such a tight-knit bubble that we really help each other out. It's just an honor to get to compete for Goshen regardless, but for the track and field team, it's an honor, and I think that, I think most of our athletes show that, and we carry that well and respect the sport that track and field is. Kind of to wrap things up, as the season moves on, what's the expectations for this year for the team, for you personally? Are there any big goals that anybody's got set? Yeah, so for the team, I would say there's some records that are probably going to be broken. They have already started to be knocked down. So I think definitely there's that competitiveness within the team and also with external teams. For me personally, like I said, just get some higher heights, get a little bit more comfortable with competing over here, and just enjoy the experience that we're all living. I think the entire team, I think you could ask any of them and they would be pretty grateful to be in the spot that they're in. I think everyone always has ways to improve, but with track and field, you're never going to be the best. There's always someone who's going to have a better day than you, a better race than you. And I think that's what makes track and field so exciting, but also so frustrating sometimes. So I think
some of those records are definitely going to be knocked down a little bit more. It'll be intriguing to see who from, but it's exciting nonetheless.
Well, I can tell you we're all looking forward to seeing how this season plays out. Once again, Quiva, thanks so much for coming to chat today.
Thank you for having me.
After the break, we'll close out the show highlighting the Student Everence Athlete of the Week and get you up to speed with all athletic events for the Purple and White with your Maple Leaf Minute. Stay tuned in. This is the Globe Sports Corner.
Goshen College students enjoy an amazing success record, and we have some impressive numbers to prove it. But stories of our graduates say even more, like developing a breakthrough antiviral drug for HIV/AIDS, writing #1 hits, being named one of Time Magazine's most influential people in the world for cancer research, and enjoying a broadcast career right out of college. They all started with a real-world education on a campus that makes everyone feel at home. See how the numbers add up and schedule your campus visit today at goshen.edu/visit.
Welcome back to the Globe Sports Corner. One of the top awards in the Goshen College Athletic Department is the Everence Student Athlete of the Week. This week, the award goes to Samuel Safolahan of men's track and field. Last Saturday at the Macedon Invitational, Safolahan broke the indoor 60-meter school record with a time of 6.92 seconds during the prelims race. He'd go on to run a 6.94-second race, placing second overall, and get this, it was just his second collegiate meet, and he's been able to compete and break 2 records as well. Back in December, Safolahan broke the 200-meter record with a 22.2-second time. A major congratulations to Samuel Safolahan on his outstanding accomplishments this season. We're looking forward to more as the year goes on. Now it's time to get you all plugged in with what's to come over the next week in Maple Leaf Athletics with your Maple Leaf Minute. Joining me in the studio is our very own Alyssa McDonald. Alyssa, you got a pretty loaded schedule as more and more teams start to get into action this year.
Yes, we do, Colin, and I'll try to keep it as plain and easy to understand as I can. On Saturday, men's and women's track and field compete at the George Glass Invitational in Upland. Then men's volleyball continues their run in Crawfordsville with Indiana University East, then Wabash College. Then we'll have live coverage of the U.S. Highway 20 Cup as the men and women's basketball teams take on the Bethel Pilots. The women start at 1 and then the men right after at 3. Then there's a bit of a break until January 29th with the men and women's basketball teams heading to Fort Wayne to face off against the University of St. Francis. Colin and Jaden will have the live call of those games with the women tipping off at 5:30 and the men at 7:30. Then on the 31st, men's volleyball heads to the Pirate Invitational with matches at 1 and 5. And then the new month starts off with a big milestone. On February 1st, men's and women's bowling will have their first home match at Signature Lanes. Both matches start at 9 a.m. Then men's and women's track is in Marion for the IWU Midwest Classic starting at 10. Men's tennis has a match at Northwood University in Michigan at 10:30, and men's basketball is back in the Gundon with both teams hosting the Mount Vernon Nazarene University Cougars. The women will start at 1 and the men at 3. Both of those games will, of course, have live coverage by our Globe staff. And finally, the men's volleyball team continues their run at the Pirate Invitational with games at 1 and 5. For the full schedule of Maple Leaf Athletics, check out goleafs.net. And that will do it for this Maple Leaf Minute. Colin, I'll send it back to you.
Certainly a lot to pay attention to over the next week, and good luck to all of our athletes as they continue to compete. Don't forget to follow the Globe on all of our social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, and X at 91.1 The Globe. Also check out our website, globeradio.org, and take the Globe on the go with the Globe Radio app, available for Apple and Android devices. Tune in 2 weeks for more in-depth sports coverage. For the whole Globe staff, for Alyssa McDonald, I'm Collin Echols. Thanks for watching the Globe Sports Corner.